Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to build a PowerApps Room Booking application from scratch. This video and the application is purely focused on the desktop layout and desktop versions. We are not going to build a responsive application, and the tutorial is more of functional based instead of UI and UX. But yes, for in terms of UI and UX, I am giving you some points like how you can improve the user experience of the application. But our major focus will be on the functional part. So talking about the feature, there are three features we are going to introduce. So the application will let user book a new room. They can change the existing room that I have selected. And the third is see bookings. So in that we are going to introduce two views, the one for admin and one for the user. Admin can see everyone's booking. So one thing to note, they can only see the booking, they cannot actually modify or delete. And the another view is for the user as well. So user can see the bookings they have made for the selected date. In order to manage the bookings data, we are going to create a SharePoint list. So here the data source I am using to store the information is SharePoint. You can use any data source like Dataverse, SQL, anything. The approach will be same, the only data source is different. Whatever the formula I write for the SharePoint list will works for the data source and Dataverse as well. Right. For this, I have already set up a SharePoint list. I will give you the exact column names and the column types in the description of this video. So just to let you know, this is the room booking detail. If I go to list setting, I will just quickly show you what is the columns I have created, because I did not want to spend a time of creating a new list from blank and spend 5 to 6 minutes there. So these are the list of columns. So the information we are capturing is who the person who has booked the room, what is the room name, what is the start time and end time of that meeting, the meeting ID. This we are going to get to delete the meeting from the Outlook from the Power Apps only, because if you want to delete the booking that you have already made, you are going to need the ID of that meeting. Same works with our data source as well. So if you want to delete something from SharePoint list, let's say, you are going to get that specific record, which is the unique ID of that SharePoint list item, right? So for the every meeting you create in Outlook, there is a special ID associated with that. We are going to use that ID to delete the meetings. So these are the information we are capturing in our SharePoint list. The second list is a room booking app admin, because we are going to store the admin information, so the users information actually. So whenever the PowerApps applications run, it will checks in this list first, so whether the current logged in user is in this list. If he or she is in this list, then it will assign the admin role to that one, right? So this is just a simple list. Room booking app admin, the title is a default column, this is the username column, which is the people picker type of field, right? So this list we are going to need. I have also opened the existing PowerApps Room Booking application template, because we are not going to write everything from scratch. So I thought, why not to use the things that are already there instead of writing it from scratch. So if you think like, if you are building some application, you are going to write each and every line of code from the very beginning, then that is fine for learning. But let's say if you are strictly on some time and you have to use your skills effectively, then you must have to use the things that are already there, as long as you understand that. So let's say I open this application on starts, right? So here you can see that there are a bunch of formula. Like if you work with Power Apps like almost 2 3 years, you are working with Power App, then you will understand what is the collect, what is clear collect, what is the variable they are setting here. But if you are just learn something new, or you are just a beginner who has started working on Power App, it is difficult for them to understand all these things, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to explain each and every formula to you guys as well. So whatever the, I'm not just going to copy and paste it and just run the video. Not like that. I will copy the code from here. I will explain you what the code does, right? So here is my PowerApps application. It has only 3 screens I have just created. So for every screen, I got one label to denote that screen, and just took a 3 button as well. Before starting, you have to connect to data source. The first one is Office 365 Outlook. Second one is Office 365 users. The first list is room booking details, and the second list I'm going to add it here is room booking admin, right? So the list that store the admin information. So just search for SharePoint. The site will appear here. Just select the list from the suggestions, and the list has been added here. So in this application, I am not using any modern controls. Instead of that, I am going to change the theme. So just click on theme. I am going to use the Office blue theme. If you are using modern control, you won't get this option. Like you can change the theme here. You just get 5 to 6 option to change. But yes, I am not using any modern control here, and I am going to just use the blue theme because it looks good rather than the classic theme of the Power Apps. Now, in order to start the application, first go to on start. Here we are going to write a bunch of formulas because why the formula? Because in order to book a room in Outlook, you must have to use the user calendar ID. So how we are going to get them? We are going to get it from the Office 365 Outlook connector. Then we are going to create a collection to store the time as well. So to time selection, we are going to give the drop downs for the user, right? So they can select the time like 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. like that. So that we are going to use a collection. So if I go to this template as well, you can see on its on start property, there is a collection. So simple, I am going to copy this collection. Just go to your on start property. I will change my collection name. Like I'm going to use the proper naming convention. So the collection is COL prefix. So let's say here I'm going to use meeting times. Just get rid of this comma. So what the collection does, it is just storing the text and the minute information, right? So this data we are storing in our drop downs. So whatever the date we selected, and for time selection, we are using this collection. So it is has the area of object, it has the text property, text that we want to show on the drop down, and behind the scene we are using the minutes as well. So the minute is really important in order to create a booking in our Outlook. So this minute we are going to use. So this is just a simple collection. In order to get a user calendar ID, you just have to set a one variable. So this is the ID that are not going to change forever, right? So we are just using the onStart property. So just name a variable that is called var my calendar ID. And for that, we are going to use Office 365 Outlook connectors actions. So it will be lookup, then Office 365 Outlook, dot I think get tables dot value. So in Office 365 Outlook calendar dot get table value, what actually storing I will show you, because even if I write the lookup, there are some chances that it will got confusing. So the reason why I'm using lookup, I will tell you. So let's say I'm going to use it where test, and we will just see what data we are storing. Actually we are getting, not storing, we are getting in this. If I click on this button, if I open a var test, you see it's an array of objects. So it has the different calendars, the birthday, calendar, US holidays, and the user too. So what are all of these, right? So if I go to my Outlook, if I switch over to my calendar, and under this you see, under my calendar there are three calendars. The first one is user calendar, US holidays, birth dates, right? So all these calendars are showing up here, but what we want is want the user calendar only, right? So out of this array of object, I just want the calendar whose name is display name is calendar, right? That's why I was using the lookup function. So go here, So the value we are getting here, lookup. Then what we want, so whatever the display name of that calendar is, calendar. Sounds weird, display name of calendar is calendar, display name equal to calendar. So once we got that name, right? So why we got the name is because if you see the variable, you are getting display name equal to calendar, and once I got the calendar, I want to retrieve its name. So it sounds confusing, right? So it is actually calendar ID. Now that we got the ID of our user calendar, we have set up the meeting name as well. The third thing we have to do is we want to get the meeting room from the Outlook. Now, if you are already in organization and creating a room booking app for your organization, then there are might be a cases that your organization have already conference room set up. But if you are a developer who is working on their own tenant, then you have to set up the conference room first in the admin center. So how you do that? For this action, you must have the global admin permission assigned. As this is my developer tenant, so I have the global admin permission so that I can create a new conference rooms. So you go to Microsoft 365 Admin Center, click on Resources, Rooms and Equipments. Under Rooms and Equipments, you see I have already created few conference rooms in my tenant. If you want to add a new resource, under that resource type, you have to select room. You give the name, you give the email address, you specify these things like capacity, location, and phone number. So once done, all these rooms will appear here. So currently we have option to add a rooms and equipments in our admin center, but in PowerApps we are currently the time of recording this video, there is no such action to get the equipments, right? So there is only connector available to get rooms, but I'm hoping like PowerApps can introduce these features to get the equipments as well. So this is the place where you create the rooms and equipments in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Go back to your PowerApps. Now we are going to fetch these rooms. So go to OnStar property. So after the collection, I'm just going to format it so it will look good. So after you get the calendar ID, then you are going to get the rooms as well. So for that, I'm going to use a collection. So it will be clear collect for, let's say, meeting rooms from Outlook, and the action is called Office 65 Outlook dot get rooms dot value. Now the collection we have created. Click on ellipsis of the app and we will trigger the on start to see whether we are getting data here. So first is via calendar ID. You see there is a data we are getting in the calendar ID. The second one is meeting room from Outlook. So in that we are getting the address and name. I will just reduce this. Okay. So address and name we are getting, but we are not getting any location for this, right? But we already specify in the resources, we have the location as well. To get the information, we are using Office 365 user connector to retrieve the location of these resources, because by default it is not going to get the location. So we are going to create another collection to retrieve the information. So for this, I am going to use clear collect, call, let's say meeting room name and address. In that, what I'm going to do for each room associated in this collection, right? So that we are going to use for all. So every room that is in this collection, we will going to collect it, not clear actually. We are going to collect that information in that collection. So the first thing I'm going to use room name. The room name will be this record dot name. Second will be room email address, will be this record dot address. Sometimes it doesn't give you suggestion, I don't know why. And the third parameter we are going to add is room location, not parameter, third item actually. Room location will be, so for this we are going to retrieve the location from the user profile. So that's why we added that connector Office 365 users, right? So here you just write Office 365 users dot get user profile v2. It's not giving me any suggestion. Let me save the application and refresh it once. I will just refresh the app. So parallelly, I will open that blog as well, Office 365 Outlook connectors. So we understand these formulas. So this is the Microsoft Learn link. Go to on start again. Get let's say I'm going to select it from here, get user profile v2. Yes, the id you have to pass, which is our this record dot address. So based on the email id we are going to fetch the information, right? So after we fetch the information, we want office location. Actually here we need to search it, or you can just type office location. Just close the bracket, close the another one for the for all. So there is one error. So receive 50, expected 2. I think for all is fine. Collect. Here we have this. Okay, we have to close the curly bracket. And then we have to close the for all bracket as well. Okay, so I think we are fine. And they give semicolon at the end. Yes. Now we will run this on start again. So let's say in my clear collect of this meeting room from Outlook, we have address and name. And in this collection that we got collect, you have that room email address, room location, and room name as well, right? So this is the thing. Now this part is also completed. Then we are going to check the current logged in user is admin or not, right? For that we have the list stored. So for this as well, we are going to use one variable like set, let's say where is admin. We are going to look up on that list, look up room booking app admin, comma. So if the user name dot email is equal to current logged in user, which is the in current logged in user information we get in this user object, right? Dot email, and we are going to check, let's say I will return the user display name, let's say return the ID of the SharePoint item, right? And we are going to check whether this is blank. Not blank actually. Yes. So where is admin? So we are going to get the current logged in. We are checking the current logged in user email address is already in that list. And if it is not blank, then he is admin. That means his data is already present there. I'm going to run this on start again. Where is admin? I'm going to select. So you see where is admin equal to false, because this list doesn't have that user information. So I will add my user. So here the username is, now that I have added myself in the admin list, I will run on start again. You see the where admin is true. That means the user is admin. Now this thing also completed. Now let's go back to our first screen, book a new room screen. So in order to book a new room, we are going to get the controls for calendar and two drop downs for to select the times as well. So here I am going to use the date picker control. Here is my date picker control. Then use combo box. For the combo box data source, I am going to use the collection that I have created, that is called meeting times. Just rename this first combo box to start time. If I check it, yeah, we are getting that collection data, right, from what we have set up in the app on start. I can select, yes. Now it is allowing multi-select, so you just turn off allow searching, allow multi-select to be off. Just reduce its width. Similar control we want for the end time as well, so just rename it as the end time. It's 1 a.m, 1:30, 9 a.m, yeah. We'll do a little formatting here. I will just rename this date picker as well, dt date picker, select date. Go to format. You see there is a short, I just want to change the format, so let's say I'm going to short date time. We can have the long date as well, so it will give proper formatting like Sunday 8 September 8:24, right? Make sure in the date picker you must have time zone selected as local. There is another option called UTC, but this application we are currently using in IST time zone. That's why I use the time zone as a local. Save the app. Now we got the date picker, we got two combo boxes to book a new room. Now we will take one button to check the room available for the selected time. So select the button. I will change the name as check rooms. Now click on that button. Here we have to write the formula. There is one formula in the Office 365 Outlook. If I go here, find meeting times. So here, this is the formula that we are going to use. Find meeting time suggestion based on the organizer, attendee ability, times and location. Because whatever the time and date we select in the drop down and date picker, we want to find that room available for that one, right? So these are the formula, and here are some parameters. Required attendees, so optional attendees, what is the resource attendee, meeting duration, start time, end time. So these things we can specify in our formula. So let's understand. The first thing we required is required attendees. It says that list of semicolon separated email addresses, right? So email address, that means whatever the room email address we got, but it is saying that list of semicolon, right? But we got that addresses in collection, and we are going to need them in a semicolon format. So for this, what we are going to do, just go to your app on start property. Under this one, semicolon separated email address, just using writing my comment so you can understand it better. So I am going to use a variable for that, where rooms email semicolon separated, and for that we have the formula that is called concat, which is in the table. So collection is also a table, right? So concat, so whatever the meeting rooms we have, so meeting rooms from Outlook, and we are going to concat its address, right? Not name, we are going to concat its address, comma, and what separator you want to use. So it's a semicolon, right? So we are going to use semicolon, and just close this formula, and we are done. Run app on start. Check in the variable. You see, we got all the email address of these rooms in semicolon separated. This is exactly what we needed according to this documentation, right? So I will go back to this screen, click on check rooms. So let's write the formula. Click on here, clear collect. We are going to use that formula. Let's say call available meeting rooms. In this, we are going to Office 365 Outlook dot find meeting times. So we have to check that find meeting times. There are two. If you look at, I got two suggestions: find meeting times and find meeting time v2. So this is really important thing. If you are using the PowerApps default template of book a new room, there are some connection and formula used that are deprecated. So let's say for an example, if I go to, let's say this one, book without a meeting. Let's see if there is some formula written here to get the rooms, or I will just search it. Office 365. Yes, this is the find meeting times. So you see that it is using Office 365 dot find meeting time, but the connector we use is Office 365 Outlook, right? So here the find meeting times v2 is the latest, but here you see the find meeting time, it's got deprecated. So this is the really important thing. If you are using existing template of the Power Apps, you must see the documentation and replace all the deprecated with the live one. That's why I kept the existing application open as well and this blog as well, right? So what we are going to use find meeting time v2. Find meeting time v2. The first parameter we have to pass, let's say, is required attendees. So it will be in our variable, right? So where rooms semicolon separated. Then let's say is organization optional. We have to set it as true. Then we have to specify start and end time. So note that we have to specify the start and end time in local format, not in a UTC format. So to get that local time, what we can do, we can just use two variables, right? Start time local and end time local to get the local time in our current time zone. So what I'm going to use, just use the one variable set. I'm going to name it as where start time local, and it will be I will just show you here, like whatever the start time and end time is, instead of writing there. So this one variable I'm using for the start time, and here we will put the end time. Now we got the date and the time, but how we are going to convert it in a local time? So remember when I said earlier, while creating the collection, we are storing the minutes as well. So based on the minutes, I am going to make a complete date format, right? So here, whatever the date we have selected, we just have to add the minutes that we select in the drop downs, right? So for this, we have the formula called date add. So in which date we are going to add it? So that is in our date picker, right? So this is DTE selected date, comma, number of units, that means number of minutes. So whatever the minutes I have selected in the combo box of start time, it will be in CMB start time dot selected dot minutes, comma, the time units will be minute, right? So currently it is not giving me properly, so it is just showing me. So to format this properly, I am going to the text function, put the complete formula, after that put a comma, use the formatting option of date time format long date time, to click on save. And here is my formula, same formula, just copy it, use it on text. Instead of start time, it will be CMB end time. Now start time I will select 8 a.m. End time I will select let's say 2:30 p.m. right? So it is giving me properly, right? Sunday 8th of September 8 a.m. to Sunday 8th of September 2:30 p.m. right? So this is the formula we got, right? So similar formula we are going to copy it and paste it in that variable. So just copy first one, check room where start time local, this one we are going to put similar formula, we are going to need it from the end time as well. So the variable name will be end time local, and after that we are going to pass it there. So here will be start equal to where start time local, end equal to where end time local. Let's close the curly bracket. Let's see if it works as expected or not. Now if I click on check room, so it will check the rooms for the selected time slots. So if I click on check room, it did not give us any error. I got the collections, so I will just use one gallery to show the data of that collection. So before that, we will see what we got here. So you see there is a table format. It did not actually write the complete one. It gives actually in table format. So what we want is whatever the data we have in that meeting time suggestion. So after that, we are going to use another function to get the data from that. So clear collect. So let's say the collection will be meeting time suggestions, and in that we are going to use the first record, right? So just write the first of available meeting rooms dot meeting time suggestion. Correct. And here is my collection, available meeting room from the Outlook view table, meeting time suggestion. So you see in the meeting time suggestion also I have multiple columns: meeting times, organizer availability, suggestion. In the attendee availability, if I click on the table, you see I got the attendee and their availability, right? So here also I am going to select the meeting times. So we have to write the first function double time. So one for the meeting time suggestion. If I run this, okay, not on start actually. I want to check the rooms. I accidentally run on start. So here meeting time suggestion, you see from the meeting time suggestion, we want the first one, right? So instead of writing multiple clear collect, I am just going to use the formula, and here I'm going to add the first of this one dot attendee availability, and just rename the collection as all rooms availabilities. Okay, just click on it, click on check room, insert the gallery. So this is a blank vertical gallery. The data source will be our collection. I think I have to manually copy it and paste it. Call all rooms availability collection name. You have to copy. Go to your gallery, go to data source, put that item there. We did not have any data here, so I just use a blank layout. I will use a title layout, so it shows busy. Copy this one and okay, this is behind that header. Okay, so availability instead of this item dot attendee dot email address dot address. Okay, so it says every room is busy because I think there are some parameters we need to add it here. So there are some required parameters as well. So here after end we have to write minimum attendee percentage should be 1, Then the important thing is meeting duration. So whatever the meeting duration is, we have to specify it. So how you get the meeting duration? So again, I am using one variables instead of writing directly there. So you will get understanding like what data we are actually using there, right? So that's the main purpose of this video, to explain everything from scratch. So to calculate the meeting duration, we have the formula called det_diff. Here you just have to provide the start date and end date and the number of units, whether it's difference in minutes or second or days or years, right? So start date we actually got in this one. So I'm just going to use the function. So start date we have here. Similarly, comma, end date will be here. Close the bracket, give comma, and time unit we want is minute. So this one is selected dot minutes. Think there is some issue. Date add. Okay, here we did not specify that minute. So in the brackets as well, we have to specify comma, time minutes, and here as well. If I format it, so date add. So this is the start date, this is the end date, and whatever difference we are getting, we are just adding the time unit in a minute. So let's say if I use something else, so this is 390 minutes actually giving. If I use time unit dot, let's say hour, it will give different number, 7 hours. If I use number of milliseconds, it will give like this. So we are just going to use the minutes, right? So this is the formula. Copy all of the formula, go to your check room button, and here you are going to put that formula. So there is no error, right? You see the error is gone. And there is one another activity domain and restricted. Okay. So I will click on check room again. From 8 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. there are two busy rooms, I guess. Three busy rooms, and other are free. If I go to my calendar, so you see that from 8 a.m. today to 2:30 there are two bookings, one for Australia, one for Los Angeles. So you see there is one Australia and Los Angeles, and the Chicago is booked from the another user. That's why it is showing busy. And so we got the information like which room is available for booking and which is not. So this is for current date. So let's say if I choose the date, tomorrow's date, Monday 9th September, then all should be free. You see, all rooms are free, right? Now we got the gallery. We just have to format it a little bit. So let's say I'm not going to invest a lot of time in UI part, as I said earlier, but we will make it a little bit proper. So this is my Australia. This is the free. So instead of email, I'm going to show the name. So for that, just use the Office 365 users connector, Office 365 Outlook, sorry, not Outlook, user profile, right, to get the information. Dot display name. And here it is a free, whether it's a free or busy, the showcase status will show here. We don't want this arrow. Actually, what we want is one button to book that room, right? So just add one button, go to advanced property, select on select, just get rid of this select, change the text to book this room. I will going to add one rectangle just to know that this room we have selected. So whenever you click on the item in the gallery, so if you see, if I click on some item, there is a little red line there, right? So that we can show like this item has been selected. So instead of line, I am going to add one rectangle, so it is more highlighted. Just select the rectangle, send all the way to the bottom, just change the color to light, let's say yellow, but really light. Yeah, this is fine actually. Yeah, and this rectangle we only want to show when this item is selected. So how do you get that? In this item dot is select property. So I am selecting Los Angeles, I am selecting Yamaha 101. You see, it is working. Now I will click on save. Now that we got the rooms, now the next thing is we need to write the format to book this room as well and store the information in SharePoint list. If I go to the check here like how we can book the room, so there is a formula called post item in the Outlook. It's calendar. You can just post item. So documentation is really important to see whether the action or connections you are using are deprecated or not. You see there are lots of connection deprecated, but in your old application, if you think you are using any one of the deprecated connection, it is recommended to change that, right? So that's why. So you see, we want this action, calendar post item, but there are four versions. So V1, V2, V3, and V4. So all of these three are deprecated. The only latest is create event V4. So that is V4 calendar post item. This action we are going to use. So first let's understand the parameters that we are going to pass in that. First is calendar ID that we are already getting it from the user. Subject, that means subject is basically what is the title of that meeting. So one thing to note, like we are using the SharePoint to store the meeting information, or what you can do, you can just write the current user logged in name as the subject. And if you are thinking like if you are giving the title or let's say text input, so when I book this room, you can create a pop-up to get the input from the user, like to select the meeting or name the meeting if they want a custom meeting name. But I wouldn't recommend that because there are some privacy also, because if I am booking a room, I don't want to let other user know or admin know what is the meeting name, right? So this is a little bit of privacy issue there. So I will just recommend you, if you book the room, keep the subject as username only, until and unless if you have some other scenarios as well, right? We have to respect some privacy as well, right? So then we have the start time, end time, which is we want to give in a UTC format. Time zone we have to specify. So by default, if you don't specify the time zone, it is going to the time zone in your local. If you want to convert it, there is also action that you can convert the time into UTC and vice versa. Local time to UTC or UTC to local time. Then we have to specify required attendees. So in our case, required attendee will be our room email address. Optional attendee we don't need, resource attendee we don't need, and all these things like categories, body, importance, we don't need all of these things, right? So I will click on book this room, go to on select. Now whenever you book the room, you have to give the time in UTC format. So how do you convert our local time to UTC format? This is really simple actually. So I'm going to use these variables here. These are the local times. I will also add one variable to denote that this is local time, because it will get confused like what is local and what is UTC format. So here are the local time, and just copy everything, and just below I will use the UTC times. So in PowerApp there is one function called time zone offset. So in that you will get the difference in UTC time and your local time in minutes. So in order to convert local time to minute, we have to local time to UTC, we have to add the time zone offset in our date. So if I just write time zone offset, I got minus 330, right? So the difference in between my local time and UTC is minus 330, that I am going to add in my this time. So I got the UTC time, right? So the formula is really simple. So just go to its text property. Here, as I said, we are going to add it. So the function is date add. In which date we are going to add it, right? So whatever the date that I have selected here. So this is the complete date, comma, what value, number of units, minus 330 that we got in time zone offset, comma, and what is in it's a minute, right? So here you can see the date add, whatever the date I have selected, the time zone offset, and the minutes. Now I want to show it in a proper format, right? This is just showing me numbers. So what I'm going to do, I will just set it as a text property, put that complete one, date time format dot UTC. So I will show you what it is, but you don't get any idea like what is the difference. So I'm just going to use a long date time. So you now get an idea. So in my local time, whatever the date I have selected, 9 September 8 a.m. to, this is completely really big. So let's say just select the 8 a.m. and end time will be 9 a.m. So in my current time 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., the UTC time will be 2:30 a.m. to, okay, this is also we need to change. So just copy this one, copy the complete formula, go to this, just replace this and replace the combo box control name as well. So it will be CMB end time. So at 8 a.m. in my local equal to 2:30 a.m. in my UTC, and similarly for this one. So this UTC time we need to pass it in a Outlook when booking a room, and you can specify the time zone as well. So if you are working in some region, or if you are developing the application specifically for selected region, then what you can do, you can use the local time directly and specify the local time zone. So that I will show you what's the difference actually in practical way. So this is theoretical. I hope you understand the difference in local and UTC. This thing we are going to do it practically. If you still have question, you can let me know in comments by providing the timestamp. I don't know what the timestamp is, but yes, you can just mention the timestamp of the video and you can just write down your questions. But we are going to see this practically, like what's the difference. Now book this room, we are going to set two variables actually, start time in UTC and end time in UTC. So the variable name will be start time UTC, and whatever the formula we have is here. So just copy the complete formula, paste it. I think I cut from here. And for the end time as well, copy the complete formula that we are going to need in a bit. So the start time UTC has been set. Give semicolon, set end time UTC, comma, the formula we have copied from the end time, and just close the another bracket. It will highlight, so whether in this bracket it will highlight whether the closing has been done or not. I will just click on this button, book this room. In start time UTC, you see that I am getting that 2:30 a.m. and 3:30 a.m. right? Then we have to write the function. Now this is the function for booking a room in Outlook, and there will be another function that will store the booking detail in our SharePoint list. Function for storing booking details in SharePoint list. So first we will write the function to store in our Outlook. So what is that function name is Office 365 Outlook or before calendar post item. Just simply copy the name, open and close the curly round bracket. Just going to write the complete function. The first parameter will be our user calendar ID. So we have that in where my calendar ID, comma. It will give you the parameter name as well in the suggestions box. As you can see, the first one is table, that is our calendar ID. Second one is our subject. Subject I'm going to use as, let's say, user. So logged in user name dot full name, and just append it with the keyword booking. Right. So as I said earlier, I don't want one text box so that user can put their meeting name. I want the username only in our SharePoint list. So what you can do, so this is the similar name which will going in your Outlook as well, right? But if you are using some conferences, if you have some quarter meetings like that, you can use the text boxes according to your choice. So you just have to replace this with the text box control dot text property, right? Start time will be our start time UTC, the variable we just added earlier, and the end time will be where end time, where it is, I think, okay, this is where end time UTC. And after that we have to specify the time zone. So you see there are all time zones available. So as we have converted the local time in our UTC time, we have to use the UTC. I think the bracket has been closed, everything is done. Yes, we'll use the format text again. So this is really simple. Calendar post item where my calendar ID, start time, end time, and I have specified the time. Now the thing is we have to specify what room we actually booked, right? So that we need to give in an object format. So you see that these are all the separate one, and everything we write after it time zone, it should be in an object. That means in a curly bracket. So the first parameter we want is required attendees text, right? So whatever the required attendee, so in my gallery I am getting that in a this item dot attendee dot email address dot address. After that, let's see what are the options. Let's say optional attendee, we don't want body, categories, location we want, right? So what you can do, location, which is equal to whatever the name of that meeting room. So I have that formula already here, so I'm just going to copy it. Then there is another one is show ads. This is really important because if you book the room, it will change their status for the current time slot as busy. So if someone else want to book this room, then it will show as busy. So this is really important parameter to pass. So I think this is completed. We don't have to write any other things, but yes, you can explore all these things. You can add the attendees as well. So there might be a case where what you can do, you can just add a people picker control here. You can select the people and you can directly add attendees from the Power Apps itself only, right? So you can also, there are lots of possibilities, right? So after book the room, I am just going to notify room booked, comma, notification type dot success. I really don't know why it is not giving me auto suggestions. I just have to write it everything manually. Okay, I will close this. So let's book a room from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. I know this is going to decline. I will tell you the reason also. But let's say for 9, okay, not for 9. So today's date at the recording of this video, today's date is 8 September and the current time is 12 p.m. But I am booking room for today 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. which is already past. But still I am going to book this room and it's going to decline the request, and I know the reason why. I am going to tell you. It says the room has been booked because it will add your entry in Outlook for a second, but after a second it will just deny it. So what the room will be booked? Australia, I guess. This one. Your meeting request has been declined. The invitation was declined because it occurred in the past. So I guess this is completely straightforward. It is saying that invitation has declined because the time you booked the room is already past, right? But what the issue is, because if you see in the combo boxes, we are getting the times, correct? So user have the ability to select any time. They don't have any user experience, right? So if I go to Power App Studio and the existing application template, so here also they have this similar one. I can select it 12 a.m. and 12:30 a.m. Right, they are disabling the control and they are just showing the message that end time cannot occur. So this is the kind of validation they have made, that user cannot select the past time. So how we can improve in terms of user experience? The first thing what we can do, we can just show the time from the current and upcoming times. We can hide the past times from the combo boxes. That also is doable. So little logics we have to put there. Just select the combo box. So as I told you, current time is 11:40 a.m. So I want the time to show from 12 p.m. only, right? So what is the greater than current time? So go to it, item property. So here we have call meeting time collection. Just remove that. Just add a condition called if. Let's say DTE selected date dot selected date. So whatever the date has been selected in the date picker is greater than today's date, then I am going to show the meeting time directly. And if is not, then I want to filter the times from the call meeting time where the minutes will be greater than current minute. Now, how you can get the current minutes in Power Apps, right? So what you can do, you can just Google it or go to ChatGPT. You can find the formula, but I have that formula directly in my hand. So I will just copy it and paste it. So I will tell you what the formula is actually. So the first condition, we are checking whether the selected date has been greater than today. If it is today, then we want to show the complete time. But if it's not, then we want to show whatever the minute is currently. So we are using the date value and this kind of function to get the current minute. So if I select this, you see that I am getting 701. So 701 minutes. So let's check in our collection what is the value of it. So I'm going to repeat down 701. So 701 is in between 11:30 and 12, right? So my current system time is 11:40. So it is working as expected. So we want to show the time of 12 p.m. Right. So go to its item property. If I go back to another screen, I will go here. So you see now the start time is starting from the upcoming, right? So it is showing the 12 p.m. instead of 12 a.m., 11:30 a.m., right? All these things. So it is showing the upcoming times only for the select current date. If I change the date to 9, it will show time from 12 a.m. So this is exactly what we needed. So instead of giving the errors and then user will change the time, so instead of this, we can just hide them. So this is how you can improve in terms of user experience as well, right? These are the really small things. The first one we did for the end time, sorry, we did for the start time. Now for the end time also, we are going to use the same condition. The only thing is whatever the time I have selected here, 2 a.m. Let's say I have selected 2 a.m. Then it should show the time after 2 a.m. In current application, you see if you select 12 a.m. then it is allowing you to select 12 a.m. but it gives an error. So how you can improve that? So this is a simple logic. Whatever time I have selected, I just want to show the time after this selected time. There is a simple condition you have to do. You have to just use a filter to that collection called meeting times, where minutes, so whatever minutes we have selected in that combo box, it should be greater than start time. So it will be cmb start time dot selected dot minutes. So I guess this is works. So if I select 12 a.m., it is showing me time from 12:31, right? If I select, let's say 5 p.m., it is going to show me time from the 5, like 5:36, 7, and so forth, right? The only thing I need to change it on visible of this screen. I am going to reset every control because the time is not resetting, right? So reset date picker, then reset combo box as well. That means CMB start time and end time. Go to home screen, go back to book a new room screen. You see the date has been reset. And in the date picker also, if you look at the default selected, which is today, that is fine because we want this to date to selected as a default. One thing you notice, when I come to this screen, the time I want is auto selected based on the current time. So current time is 11:40. So I want it should be auto selected as 12 p.m. to 12:30, right? So for this, we have the default selected item property for the combo box. So that we can manage. So just select your control, go to its default item selection property, and here we are going to use a lookup. So lookup in our collection, which is called call meeting times, where I want to search for the minutes and it should be greater than whatever the minutes I have selected. So where we got that minutes, so in its item property. So this is the exact same formula that we are going to copy. Go to default selected items, and minutes should be greater than equal to the minutes, and then close the formula. You see, it is directly showing me 12 p.m. And similarly for the end time, what we will do, go to its combo box, default selected item property, write the formula lookup, call meeting times, where minutes are greater than, don't use greater than equal to, write greater than only. So whatever the minute I have selected in the start time, by default it should be greater than that. So it will by default add 12:30, because in our collection, if you see, we have the 30-minute difference, 30, 60, 90. If you look at 12 p.m, 12:30 p.m, so it is by default, because lookup returns only one value, right? So if you want that, you want 1 hour difference, so what you can do, you can just add 30, 60 according to that. So see, if I use 30, then it will add the 30, like 30 plus 30 is 60, right? So 12 to 1. If you want more, you can just add the numbers, but I think the default will be fine, 12 to 12:30 p.m. Go back to home screen, go to this screen. This is working as expected, even though if I select this one, it is not allowing me to select the past time. The only thing is, in this date picker control, we don't have ability to hide the previous dates. In modern control, we actually have. So for that, what you can do, in the check room, you can add a checkbox. Sorry, not checkbox, you can check condition to set a display mode. So if whatever the date I selected in that date picker, so the control name is tt selected date, if it is greater than today, greater than, then we want to show the display mode is edit, otherwise it will be display mode or disable. It will be greater than equal to, right? So today is 8 September, that is fine. If I select 9, that will be fine, but if I select 5, it is going to disable that one, right? So this is kind of validation we can give. If I play this, click on check rooms, so it is giving me updated one here. I'm just going to add one gray color to this gallery, because the one thing to note, when you change date and time, you have to reset the gallery as well and reset the collection as well. So what you can do, you can just click on the control, go to its on change property, and you can just clear the collection, because the collection is not cleared. Even though if you are changing the time, it will give you the wrong results. So what is the collection name I used here? All rooms ability. Copy the same, go to start time, and for the end time as well. So let's say after 12:30, I will select 1 p.m. It's going to reset the collection. The reason we are getting this error, because we don't have any data here, but we are using that connection, right, to get the user information. So to handle this kind of error, you can use the if error function. So just get rid of this, write if error. If there is an error in this formula, then write blank. If there is not, then just write whatever the data we want. So this is kind of error handling you have to do. If I go to home screen, I will come back to book a new room. You see, we don't get that error now, even though we don't have the data here, correct? To explain you more, unknown. You see, it is showing the unknown. Okay, now just play this app, select 1:30 to 2, click on check room. Chicago is busy from 1:30 to 2. Let's check in our calendar whether it is booked by us or another user. So it is booked by another user. The Los Angeles is been booked from 2 to 3 p.m. Okay, let's check that one. As you see, Los Angeles has been booked, and that's why it is showing the status as busy. The only thing is we have to hide this book a room button, right? So whenever the status is busy, we do want to hide that. So this is really simple. Just click on this button, go to its visible property, and we want to hide this button if this button dot availability is equal to busy. Sorry, not equal to busy. This one. So only free room will have this button. So for the 1:30 to 2, I am going to book the New York room. Room has been booked. Go to your calendar. You see that room has been added here, 1:30 to 2 p.m. We'll get an email in a short. Your request has been accepted. So now the room has been booked. To show free and available room, I am just going to use the colors. It will give a lot of sense. So you can directly identify what is the busy room and what is the booked room. So I'm going to change the color to red if the room is busy. So for this, I'm going to add condition like if this item dot room availability is equal to busy, then I want color dot red, otherwise color dot black. So you see the two rooms are busy. Now that I have booked the New York room as well, it did not actually receive the collection, right? So when we book the room, after the booking has been done, we have to reset the collection as well. So I will say clear and the collection name call availability, all rooms availability. Now just do not book this room. What we can check whether New York is updated or not. I will click on check rooms. So you see New York is busy now because that is already booked by us. So almost we have booked the room. Now it got stored in Outlook. We also handle some validations like how we can not let user to select the previous date or previous times for this. Now if you remember, I told you if you booking this room, you must have to specify in UTC format if you are using multiple regions and all. But let's say if you are using specifically for your country or a single region, at that time what you can do, if you remember that we got this variable where start time UTC and where end time UTC, and here we provided time zone as well. So instead of that, what you can do, let's say I'm in IST time zone, right? So it has the IST time zone as well. I just have to get rid of all of this to get the auto suggestions, I guess. Just write comma and I will select the IST here. So it will be plus 5:30. Chennai, Kolkata. Okay, this one. And then I'm going to write my complete object. So in this way, you have to write the time zone if you are using specifically for specific region, right? So you can specify that region time zone. So you don't have to convert anything in a UTC format. And the second thing you have to do, you have to change the start time and end time as well. Because let's say if you convert the time zone in UTC and specifying the time zone as a local, then it is going to make a difference. I will tell you how. So let's say this is 1:30 to 2:30. I'm going to select 6 and 7:30. So in a UTC, it will be from 12:30 to 2 p.m. I am going to book this Australia for testing only. If I go back in my calendar, so here 6 to 7:30, the meeting should appear here, right? But it got appeared here because in UTC it will be 12:30 to 2 p.m., right? So you have to specify the local time zone as well. So whatever the local time zone you have to specify it there instead of UTC. I think you got the difference. If you still have question, you can let me know in comments. I will answer in detail, right? So currently I will keep it in a UTC only, universal coordinated time. ठीक है. After we book the room, we want to store the information in SharePoint list as well, right? So for that, we are going to use a patch function. But before that, how we can get the actual, what is the data passed here, right? So what we can do, you can create a variable to store the response of this. Just copy the function or just cut it. You can set variable, set, let's say we have new booking detail, and write the complete function in that. So this is really straightforward. I am just, instead of writing the function directly, I just want to store this response of this function, right? In our development also, if you add any data in your applications, it got the response. So it is similar kind of API request, because in the behind it is saying the sending the API request only, right? So in my booking detail, this is really important if I want to use the stored information in SharePoint list. I will use the notify and everything at the bottom. Now we want to write the patch function. So here just write patch room booking details. We are creating new record, that's why use defaults room booking details. And title we have to specify. So whatever the variable name I got there, dot subject. Right. So if I go to my Outlook, if I open this for your information, so subject will be my name and the booking. So whatever the subject we specify here, you see my name and the keyword booking, it will got here. After that, we have the columns called, let me check, book by email, book by name. So book by email will be current logged in user name. So you can directly specify that object. For book by name as well, you can directly write user dot full name. After that, we have the room email. So you can specify the room email we are getting in this one, this item dot address, and room name we are getting in using Office 365 profile display name. Then the column we have, I think, start time and end time and meeting ID. Yes. So here is the start time. So you can store the start time as a local format. So you can directly use the local time to store in the SharePoint list, because when we are retrieving the meetings from your calendar, it will be in a local time to, that's why I will just reference this object. So reference this level. So I will just rename it LBL start time local or LBL end time local, right? Although you get the information in the variable directly itself. Just copy the variable. Here we have the start time with time zone, and end time will be end time with time zone. Then the important thing is meeting ID, which you will get in ID of this booking detail. So I think only this information we needed. I will just cross check. Room email, start email ID we got. So these are the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I think we are good. Just go to home page, book a new room. Current time is 12. So it reset, right? So it's 12 p.m. 12:30. Click on save. Yes, it is working as expected. Click on check rooms. So it will list all the free rooms available. This is in the IST time, so we will check what the room is. So just click on check rooms. Let's say I will make a booking for MR101. Go to your SharePoint list. So you see the detail we got here. Book by name, book by email, whatever the room name, whatever the time and end time. You see, we have all the details captured in our SharePoint list. Just go back. So once we book the room, I want to clear everything and reset everything. So just use the reset function that we use in the onVisible property. So reset everything. After resetting, go back to home page. Home screen, actually, not home page. The home screen. Now we will check again for the selected time. MR101 that we just booked, it is busy for the selected time. So here is 12 to 12:30 MR101. Let's say for 1:30 to 4:30, all these rooms are busy. So I will use Delhi. So book a room from 1:30 to 4:30. So it is added Delhi 1:30 to 4:30. And in our list as well, it is got added. So now the first part is done. Book a new room. We successfully added the rooms in Outlook. We also understand how we can use the time zones as well. If you are building this app for multiple regions, then make sure to use a UTC format. But if you are doing it for specifically one region, then you can specify the your region time zone in your booking settings, right? So just save the application. Now the thing is, when you book a new room, if you check the time zones, time slots, you see there is a MR101 is busy, but I did not actually get who booked that room, right? So we can show that information in our app itself. What we can do, you can just have one button, right? So this is the one booking room. So here I will use the button as show booking details. and this button will be only visible when the room is busy, right? So what we can do is visible property. We already have that condition, not equal to, just replace it with equal to. Really simple, right? And on this booking detail, what we want is to capture the booking information that we ordered in a SharePoint list. So this button, I am going to move it all the way to the back. Okay, this is fine. Just change the color. So I will change the color to orange. I will use one container. In that, give a black color, because this is just the overlay I'm going to use. So when I click on it, it will show the overlay. And we want to make sure to use a variable, because we need to manage in that variable like whether we want to show that overlay or not. So it will be update context. Just give the name as let show booking details to true. No, initially it will be false. Copy the variable name, select the container, go to its visible property, put that variable name, and whenever I click on show booking details, so my button is here, so I will rename it btn show booking details, and the second one is button book room. So this is btn show booking details. Go to its on select property and it will be true. So if I click on show booking detail, the pop-up will open, right? So here I need to add another container, give it a white color, make it center align. What you can just write the formula like parent dot width minus self dot width no, not in the width, actually it's in the x-axis, divided by 2. So it will give you an exactly center, right? You can choose the horizontal container or vertical container as well, but I prefer to choose these containers. Okay, now first thing we need to use the one cancel button that hide this pop-up, and in this button we are going to use that formula to hide this. So it will be update context, show booking details will be false when I click on this button, right? When I click on it, it will showcase. When I click on cross, it will hide. Now we are going to use one gallery to filter out the result from the SharePoint list. So use a blank vertical gallery, use the list as room booking details. Here is my gallery, just give width and height. You see the icon is behind this gallery, so I cannot actually click this icon even though I am hovering it. You can right click on the icon, click on reorder and bring it to front. Then I can actually click it. Now in this gallery, I am going to filter the records from the room booking details. Before that, I will go and add one title. So it will be a meeting room. Then it will be booked by name. then it will be start time. I will just choose this operator to concatenate the strings, and it will be start time and end time, both we need to showcase. You can play with the formatting and all these things later, but the main thing is how we can show in the data. So you can see my current room that I have selected MR101, but it is showing me room detail of Delhi only, right? That's why we are going to use the filters. So what I want to filter this gallery, comma, so the room email should be equal to whatever the email that we selected in the gallery, right? So it will be this item, or actually the gallery name. So the gallery one, so I'm going to replace that one. So gal available rooms for booking. Dot selected dot attendee dot email address dot address. So it is showing me the details of the room that I have booked here, right? So this is how you filter the records. You can add a separator as well, but yes, this is completely up to you. I will make some other bookings as well for this same room. 2 to 4, let's say MR101, I am just going to book this room. Can let's say 12 to let's say 5. All these rooms are booked. Let's say Chicago, I will click here. Okay, this is not booked by me. This is from another user before creating the application. That's why the information is not captured. This is Delhi. I have booked from 1:30 to 4:30. This is New York. Okay, this is another booking detail. That data is not in SharePoint list. For Yamaha 101, there is two rooms, right? 12 to 12:30 and 2 to 4. Right, so this is how you can do. Then you need to add one more filter actually, because there will be rooms created for the different date as well, right? So if I change the date to let's say 10, time will be 12 to 5. I will book EMR 101. I will check my SharePoint list. So this is the latest entry, 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. If I go here to book a new room, if I select and check rooms, show booking details, it is showing me bookings of the 10 only, but I have just want the information of the selected date, right? So this is also you can filter it out. And how you can do that? So you can just use the date value of the start time, because we cannot directly apply the greater than or equal to on the text field, because in our SharePoint list we have used this text field. So we have to convert it into date value, right? So date value of start time must be equal to, not today actually, this is whatever the date we have selected in the date picker control. It is giving me delegation warning because the function doesn't support. But before that, what we can do, we can check. Now that entry is gone. So what you can do, you can select the 10. If I click on check room, if I click on show booking detail, then it is showing me. But we got a delegation warning. Now you can ignore this warning, because what you can do, you can delete the previous booking, like you can create a Power Automate flow to delete the bookings made in the last 30 days or 7 days, so that in your SharePoint list you don't have the, you don't want to cross your 5,000 or 2,000 items, right? Because whatever the booking made in past doesn't make any sense. Like, I don't want to see that information in the list. But still, if you want to keep it somewhere for your future use, you can handle the delegation. So for that, you can add a column while filtering this out. Give the column name as, let's say, start time, new column I will give it. And you can use the exact name of that one. You can use directly start time, or you can use that variable that we just added, right? So now the delegation won't come here. Check the room. If I create show booking details, it is showing me the value without any delegation warning, right? So this is how you can display the information who booked that room for the particular time slot or for particular room, right? So the first part is done, booking a room. Now we can go to all booking screen. We can come to change a room screen in a bit, but first we are going to show the all booking screen, because here we have the role based access, right? Admin can see everyone booking and user can only see their bookings. So this is really simple. You can just use a gallery. So this is a blank vertical gallery. Data source will be our room booking details. Layout, I will select title, subtitle and body. So it is showing start time, so we'll do end time here only. And for the last one, I am going to show the room name. And for the first one, whoever booked that room, his or her name will appear here. What I will do, I will use 3 columns in a row. So just modify the wrap property so you can see wrap count. Right. Now we want to make it dynamic based on the logged in user admin role, right? So just cut this. So like if where is admin, so this is the variable that we stored in the app on start to check the current logged in user is admin or not. If the current user is admin, we directly want to show all the details, but if it's not admin, then we want to filter the records. So the filter booking details where booked by email, I will recommend to use book by email instead of book by name, so it will give more unique and more proper, right? So book by email equal to user.email. That's it, we are done. So I am an admin, I can see this all everything. What I can do, instead of logging to another user account to check, I can remove myself from this list. I will go back to Power Apps. I will hit app on start property. I will check this where is admin is false. So it goes in a false condition, and here you can see all the rooms has been booked by me. So if there is one email that is from the another user, then it won't appear me here, right? So this is how you can do that. Or if you want to see like practically, I can just modify directly in my SharePoint list. So this is the book by email. I can just modify this email to user1. So instead of my email, it will be in. Okay. Now let's check the app once. Refresh the records as well. So now you can see there are only 3 bookings made under my account, right? And if I'm the admin, then I can see everything. So this is what you can do. Like, you can introduce role-based control in your application. In the room booking app admin, I will add myself again. Just refresh your all databases. You can run app on start property. Now I can see the formatting, even though my email address does not match with the email address provided in the list. So this is the admin view you can do. You can play with the user interface. You can add images to show the image as well, as long as with names. You can add a container shadow. UI is all up to you. Now the second thing what we can improve, instead of showing all the bookings made by users, like, we did not add any filter, right? So what you can do, you can add a filter to show the upcoming bookings only. So even though if I book a room for the 6th of September, which is 2 days before, right, it is still going to showcase me because I did not add any filter to show the room today and upcomings, right? So you can add that filter to improve the app performance, right? Also, there is one thing you can do. You can add a date picker. By default, it will show today's booking only. So whatever the bookings made by you today, you can showcase here based on the date, and you can add the date selection option as well. So if I select the 9, then it will show the rooms available for the 9th of September, right? In this way, you can improve your app performance and user experience. So how you can do that? Here, for everyone, this is for admin and for user as well. What you can do, you can add the filter room booking details. Here I will rename the date picker controller DTE. uh, Check room booking detail. So filter, here what I'm going to date value of start time is equal to whatever the date I've selected in that control. It is giving delegation warning similarly as I said in the earlier one, as we just saw. And you can just add that column name here, right? So the similar filter criteria I'm going to use, and just give comma, right? So here I have the bookings for 8. For 9 we don't have. I think for 10 we have. Yes, it is showing me 10th, correct? And let's see what happens if I directly jump in the screen. See bookings. Okay, the on select property is not specified. Navigate to all booking screen, right? So it is showing 10. It is does not actually resetting the control. What we can do, you can say the default data is today, but when you come to the screen, you have to reset it. Now if I go back to home screen, go to all bookings, it is going to reset to today's date. So in this way you can do that. So this is really simple screen. The major functionality is done. UI you can use your accordingly. You can add some navigations, you can add some headers, footers, everything. It's up to you. The major focus is on functional part only, right? Then we have completed book a new room screen. We have added the all booking screen as well. Now it's time to come to change room screen. Now in this screen, what we are doing, we are actually fetching the data from user's calendar, logged in user's calendar actually, and we are showcasing in the application. So if you look at the existing app, Power Apps that built, so let's run this app because I think we already added too much data in our calendar. We have all these rooms available. So let's see how the existing app works. So book for an existing meeting. So in this app, it will populate all the meetings that I have already created in my Outlook. So you see all these meetings are here. The location has been specified. So let's say this booking I will change from 12:30 to 2 p.m. I have bookings for Australia. So from I will use the view for the day. You can, yes. So from 12:30 to 2, yes, 12 to 2. Okay. I have bookings for Australia. This is I am going to change with some another room. So I will select this one. So now it will again check what are the available room for the selected time and selected date. So you can see all these rooms. So I am going to change from Australia to Phoenix. I will click on book. I will go here. You see earlier it was Australia. Within a second or two, it just changed to Phoenix. Right. It gives me success message. Now if I go to my Power Apps that I just created and let's try to book a room for the same time slot and let's check which room is available. If we wrote everything correctly, then the Phoenix should be unavailable, Australia should be available for 12:30 to 2, or I can just select 3:30. So you see Australia is available but Phoenix is busy. And let's check the booking details. Okay, the reason there is not because this is the another application and here we did not have that update function. In our application we have, right? But the main reason is you see how quickly it updates and quickly edit the rooms and how quickly you got the response, right? And all these are in sync, right? So what we did when we book the room, we are adding entry in Outlook as well and we are adding in a SharePoint as well. But in case of changing as well, if we change the location in our Outlook, we are changing the location in the SharePoint that we are going to see in this screen, right? But before that, I think we can delete all the data from our list because there are lots of edits I have made in the booking directly from the Outlook. We did not get updated in SharePoint. This might create a conflicts, right? So I can delete all the meetings one by one, or you can do what you can do. I know as a developer, you are testing a lot of things in your environment. So you don't have time to cancel each and every meeting and click on send. I found a little hack about this. What you can do, you can just insert one button. Now you that know कि you can get all the meetings from your Outlook calendar, right? So once you get that meetings, you can actually delete them directly from the Outlook action only. So this is really interesting thing I found if you want to bulk delete everything. But note that do not use this in your live application or live environment. This is just for testing only. Yeah, because I have lot of testing data, as you can see almost 10 to 12 meetings are here. I don't have time to actually click on each of them and click on discard or send for cancellation. So what you can do, you can just create button, just delete all. Here on select property, there is a function to get your current calendar item, which is called as Office 365 Outlook. Dot, let's say get calendar item. Here also you can see the calendar view 1, view 2 and view 3. So latest one is v3, can say it is updated, and there is one another that is called as calendar get items. V4 calendar get items, this one. So there is two parts. One is to get the information from calendar and one is to get from the view. So I'm going to use it, and this is really simple. You just have to pass your calendar ID and then value. Now once we select this, we are getting the information here. So what we can do for every meeting, right, for all of all my calendar item, I want to delete those meetings. So for deletion as well, we have that formula. So let's check in this article. I think it is in delete item. Delete item. Okay, not delete contact actually. Yeah, delete this one. Delete item which is deprecated. Let's check another version. Contact calendar delete item. Where is that? Calendar delete item v2, right? So this is we are going to use, and it just require two parameter, calendar id and the id. So remember, if I said earlier, if you want to delete your meetings from your Outlook, you must have that calendar id and your meeting id that we are storing in SharePoint, right? But in this function we don't need the SharePoint list, we can directly use this one. So for this I am going to use, just write that calendar delete item v2. The first parameter will be my calendar id, which is where my calendar id, and then this record.id. If you want to delete the SharePoint data as well, you can do that. How? Or I can just delete the meetings and only for now. So click on delete all. So note that it will delete the items from your calendar only. Whatever the meeting that you have created, you can only delete those meeting, right? So let's say there is some another user, they add you as an attendee, you cannot delete them. They only delete the meeting that were created by you, right? I think the function is, I will just refresh this and everything is gone. Maybe we have to use our developer skill sometime. You can see there is no meetings from any of this. So whatever the meetings I have created for any day, it will delete everything. So this is generally I use for testing, but yeah, it is recommended to not use for any live application as long as you are doing testing. Right, if I run on start again, yeah, everything is resetted. Just get rid of this, but I don't know why I took this. Okay, click on book a new room, check room 1 to 130. The Australia is free. Let's say let's book this room only. Go to see bookings. The Australia has been booked by me. See how quickly it got updated in SharePoint and in the real time as well. Here you will have to add the back button. I did not add any back button. I am just navigating from this section only. Click on change room screen, and we are going to need that formula, right? So to get the meetings from user calendar, so the same formula I am going to copy. V4 calendar get item, this is the name of that formula. Go to change room screen and on its visual property I'm going to get that room, right? So here what we can do, we can add one button. So as I said earlier, I'm going to add all the functions on the button instead of on visible, because if I do that, then I will have to go to another screen and come back to this screen to trigger that event. So just simply what I can do, you can just create a collection, clear collect, let's say call my Outlook meetings, comma, whatever the meeting I have. I think be small. Okay. Yeah. So in this way you can do that. One thing to note here, whenever you are using this one, it get all the meetings from your Outlook, like for today, tomorrow, after that, it get all the meetings. So what you can do, you can apply the filter to get the current, to reduce the load of the app, right? But for now I am just going to select this one. I click on the button, I don't have any meeting, so it got only one meeting. That's what we want. I can use the gallery. The blank vertical gallery it will be. On this gallery I will select data source as that collection. I think it got vertical gallery or horizontal. I think I have selected the horizontal one. Click on insert gallery, blank vertical gallery actually. And the item property will be my collection name. Layout will be, let's say, title, subtitle and everything. Okay, this is ID. I don't want that ID. Just let me check what are the location is there, right? So the location is here. And for the text will be, I don't want end, actually it is given a UTC. I don't want end with time zone, so it gives in a proper format, right? So it will be, I generally use this instead of that and operator. Yes, I guess 1 to 1:30 we have the bookings for Australia. I will quickly do some 3 or 4 bookings. I will pause the video, I will do some bookings so that we can have sufficient data to work with and to showcase you how the things works behind the scene. So I will quickly create some bookings. Now I have created some dummy bookings on my Outlook, and here is some information that got stored in SharePoint list as well. So let's click on this button. Now you can see the bookings and the details has been appeared here, right? I'm just going to use a gallery, just give it a background color to gray. I don't think it's necessary, it will be light one, this one. Okay, fine. Now to change a room, there are two options, like two features we can introduce. One is to change the room only, date and time will be same. There is one another thing you can do, you can change the room as well, change the booking date and time as well, right? So there are two kind of things. So what we can do, we can first try to change the room only. Here I have this gallery. What you can do, you can use the date selection and that date picker field only. I am using the control from this screen only. Just copy everything. Go to change bookings, change screen. Now we have that one. Just add there. I'm going to adjust a little bit UI. I think this is fine. and on visible of the screen, I want the default, I'm going to remove all the default text and everything from here, right? I think there is no text. Then we can do, so this is showing the details based on my current system time, right? If you remember earlier, we have to use this formula, but what we want, whatever the date or whatever the meeting we have selected, we want to update its date and time. So this is really simple. So I'm just going to rename the gallery as gal my meetings. You can select date, so you can go to default date, remove this one, and here I am going to gallery meeting dot selected dot start with time zone, right? If you select start, then it will be in a UTC format. That's why if you select start with time zone, because in the date picker we have selected time zone as local, not in UTC, right? To be very precise, I will convert this to in the date value. Similarly for start time and end time, I guess you remember this is start time and end time because I don't have any labels. But yeah, this is clearly, this is the start time control and this is the end time control. Similarly for this one, go to its default selected items. We are going to change it. Whatever the formula we have here is this one. So call meeting times, minute is greater than date difference. I think this is fine. The only thing we need to change is date of today. Instead of this, we have to select the date of this one. But I guess this is fine actually, or not. Yes, because in our previous screen that was for the today's date booking and upcoming days, but this is different, right? So you have to change it here. I think rest of the fine. Let me check if we are getting the information correctly. Okay, I think there is some difference. Okay, let me check. Default selected item will be, so we are getting call meeting times, then minutes is must be greater than equal to, okay, let's it will be okay. Text of today will be fine. And the formula is like this one. So the control name I selected wrong. This is underscore one we have. And similarly for end time as well, we have to select the same. So whatever the formula you written there for default selected item of this one, the same we are going to use for this one. So just select this end time control, just remove this. Instead of start with time zone, I am going to select end with time zone. So here is the meeting from 1:30 to 3:30, that is fine. This is for 1 to 1:30, 8:30 to 9. I think this is working as expected, right? Okay, dates are also changing. You see, this is September 9, this is September 8, correct? Now what I want is, when I select any item here, I want to disable this control so that user cannot actually modify the time. So what I can do, I can use one variable to manage the display mode of these controls. So select the gallery, click on advanced, click on select. So here I'm going to add one variable like let display mode date and time. It will be display mode or disabled. Because I don't want user to change the meeting times directly, because we are going to introduce the feature but we want user confirmation before that, right? So I will just add one another button that says change time and date as well. So here is display change date and time, right? And all on the click of this button I am going to make that display mode is edit. So just copy the variable name, select every control here, click on display mode and just write it down. Now it is showing edit mode only because the neither I have selected anything or neither I have selected this one. And one thing also on visible property as well, you have to write it display mode at disabled. I don't know, sometime it gives suggestions, sometime not, or if this still have just happening to me. Okay, go to home screen, go back to change room. You see the display mode has been disabled. If I select this one, I cannot actually change the time, right? That is fine. If I click on change date and time, it will give in edit mode. If I select this, it will give in a disabled mode, right? So I will reduce the font size. I think it will be fine, right? So whatever the date and time I selected, we have added the visible display mode dynamically. And when I select any room, I want to check the available room for the selected time. So the same formula that we used in this screen, the same formula we are going to use this one also. So just click on check rooms of the book a new room screen. So I'm going to copy every, just copy it, go to change a room screen. We are going to need one button, right? Or you can just, we have that arrow directly in, right? So we can just use this one. How we can check, what we can view. There is no relevant icon. I think we can use this one only. So on select of it, just put the complete formula here. You won't get any error, but there are some changes we have to do because it is referencing the control from the first screen, right? So for our screen, we have another control. So for every control I copied, they have _1 after each one. So we just have to change them. So here, then everything remains same, just change the control name. I think if I play this, but before that we'll take one gallery to showcase that available rooms. So for this gallery, we will use the same collection. It's not going to give me auto suggestion in this live. Let me copy it manually. Just select the layout as, let's say, title only. I just want the room name. Just click on the view icon. Okay, free, but what? Which room is free? Here we will show this item dot attendee availability dot email address dot address. Okay, I'm getting in email format. You know what to do. Just select the user profile action, v2 action, not v1, v2 dot display name. Right, so there are all rooms are free except New York. New York is busy for 9 September 3 to 3:30. Let's check the calendar whether it is true. So you see 3 to 3:30 on 9 September, New York is already booked by me. So it is giving us updated result, right? We can work with it. What happened here? Okay. So instead of showing the busy room, we just want to change the room that are available. So there is no sense to see the busy room. So we just filter out the results. For that, what you can do, you can just use filter. The collection name availability is not equal to busy. So it will show you room that are free, so that I can get rid of this label that shows it is free or not, because it is going to show me the free rooms only always. I think this is fine. I will use the wrap count to 3. I'm not working on the UI as I told so many times, but let me adjust them a little bit. I think color will be on complete gallery. Okay. Let's add one button. Let's change it to, let's say, green. Name will be changed. Let's the font size to 12. To use small button. This is fine. Okay, now the thing is, if you want to change, there is one another action. For book a new room, we have the post item action in the Office 365 Outlook. But to change the existing meeting, we have the patch item property, patch item function. So just go to the article, just search for patch item or patch calendar event, whatever it is, we will check. V1, V2, V3 all are deprecated. The only available thing is V4 calendar patch item. So in this patch item, so there are some parameter different. So first we have to pass the calendar ID of the user, and the second parameter is the event ID. That is our meeting ID we are storing in our SharePoint list. Rest of the parameters are exactly same. So what we can do, go to Power Apps. Here we have the onSelect function. I will go to this one, copy the formula from here. Because this is the same formula we are going to use, just there are some changes that I will let you. So here, change your room screen. Click on this change and write this here. I think we are going to receive the controls. First change the control names. So we have the underscore, which one? I think we are using same collection, notify room changed. So here start time UTC and end time UTC. Instead of that, we are going to use, let's say, local time. So instead of time zone offset, I think we can directly add minutes. So we don't need this time zone. So what I can do, I can just rename the variable as where start time UTC to local, where start time, well, let's say what happen if you directly use this one. You will need to change the control name here as well. So here we have the post item. We have to replace it with before calendar patch item, and then we'll get some errors. So the first parameter you can see calendar ID, and the second one is the ID of the event. So after this one, we have to specify that ID. But how we are going to do that? We are going to need a lookup function for that. So lookup in our room booking details. Then we have the column called meeting ID, which is equal to, not this item actually, whatever the meeting I have selected in my gallery. So my gallery name is gal my meetings dot selected dot id. Give a comma. That is correct. I think there is some issue. Dot id is fine. And then we have user bookings, that is fine. End time UTC, start time UTC, required attendees, we have selected that this email dot address. Location also fine. Now why it is showing that expected table value? Let me check. Click on save. What if I use filter here? Just look up room booking details. In that, meeting ID equal to my selected meeting dot id. So let's check my where is the ID has been stored. Here we have the ID column there. Okay, we can ignore this error for now, but let's check why. Okay, I think I got the error. Actually, in patch item, we don't have to use lookup because we are directly referencing this ID. I was confused that it was a SharePoint patch. So you can just get rid of all of this formula, not get rid of, just copy this because we are going to need it. So instead of lookup, we just have to use my selected ID, and patch function we are going to use here in the lookup, because once we update the data in our Outlook calendar, then we are going to update in our SharePoint list as well. So how we are going to do that? Based on the meeting ID. So you got delegation, so no worries. We are not using all the function. It is just the thing that it will just find one record, right? So make sure that you have the indexing enabled for columns like book by email, room email, start time and end time. So make sure that you use the column indexing for them, so it will affect the performance. So I think this is fine. Title subject, I think we are not going to change it once we do the patch. We are just going to change the room name and room email. You can have start time and end time also changed. You can do that, but yeah, for now I will just keep it as it is. Here we have the error because if it's empty, then this is going to fail. So just use the if error condition to handle this one. If error, if I got the error in this formula, just return nothing but return display name. That I will select Chicago. Now let's say if I click on Delhi for 9 September 1 to 1:30, I will change the room to Delhi. This is saying room changed. So here 9 to 9:30 or 1:30. Let me check what was that. So it's saying Delhi, your request was accepted. 1:30 to 1:30 p.m. I guess. 1:30 to 1:30 Delhi. Yeah, the room has been changed actually. Here we did not saying that because we did not trigger the on visible. Yeah, you can see that it is changed. So let's say for today's booking, let's say we have a booking for today 2:30 to 6:30 Delhi. So I will trigger that on visible event so that we can get the latest updated, and we will say Delhi. So you can see the 2:30 to 6:30. We will check available rooms. So the Delhi is not available, that's why it is not showing. So instead of Delhi, I am going to select the Vegas room. So I will click on change. Just go to calendar. You see within a second it just got updated. 2:30 to 6:30 Vegas. Now we booked the Vegas room, right? So earlier it was Delhi. Now if I want to book a room under Delhi for the selected time, then it should be available. If it is, then I think we are almost completed with our application. So today 2:30 to 6, let's check the room. Yeah, you see Delhi is available, Vegas is busy because we just got that room changed, right? I think this is almost completed. Just go to change your room. Now whenever on visible, just get rid of this button and delete the formula from here. Write the on visible of that screen. So make sure that once you go to on visible, you must reset each and every control you have. So here clear right? Okay, so this one I will choose 1 to 1:30 Delhi of 9th of September. Now we just got the room changed. So what happened, we if you want to change the time as well or date as well, so for this we are going to need one another button, so that if we change our meeting date and time, it will show you the updated room available based on that time. So the button will be check available rooms, and the button is only visible if I click on change date and time. So how you get that? So let's say we are going to get it from the display mode of date and time. So what we can do, if the display mode is edit, then we are going to showcase this one. So on the button visible property, we can show that if the display mode equal to display mode dot edit. So currently it is disabled. If I click on change date and time, then it is saying check available rooms, right? So what I can do, I have 1 to 1:30, but I want to change the time. I will show you my Outlook as well. So this is 1 to 1:30. I think it's almost time of my system 1:20. I will choose another booking 3 to 3:30. Like currently my system, my time is 1:25. So after 5 minutes it will be gone. So I will choose another one 3 to 3:30. At 3 to 3:30 there are all these rooms available. I will change it to 7 to 7:30. So let's check available rooms. Okay, I forgot to copy the formula from here. Go to set one property, go to on select. So click on check available rooms for 7 to 7:30. New York is already there because time is different, right? So instead of New York, I'm going to change the room and the time. So room will be recreational area for 7 to 7:30. So if you see, then the room has been changed to recreational area and the time was also changed, correct? So this is working as expected. Now if I go to change room again, it is updating the recreational area as well here. So where is that? Okay, the first one, recreational area. So if I want to change this again, if I click on recreational area, if I want to change date and time, and this time I will change my date to, let's say, 10th of September from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. Let's check available rooms. I will select Phoenix, go here. It got deleted from here. It got shifted to 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. Phoenix room on 10th of September. So I think this is working really as expected. The only thing you need to change, whenever you navigate to different screen, you just have to clear the collections and everything, right? So I think the most of the functional part that we have covered everything. How we can book a new room, how we can change the date and time or the room location of the existing meeting as well, and how we can sync all these things with our SharePoint as well. So let's check the SharePoints. So there are some entries that we created with recreational area and all. Just hit refresh in the SharePoint list and it will give you the latest updated room. So you see the latest one we have changed to Phoenix 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. right? So this is updated in SharePoint as well. And if I go to book a room screen, if I check for these rooms. Current time is 1:30 p.m. So Yamar 101 and Vegas should not be available between 1 and 7. So between 1 and let's say the Phoenix and Yamar 101 should not available. Vegas and Yamar 101. So Yamar 101 here and here is the Vegas. So all these rooms are booked by me. So it is also showing here. So now what we can do, we can just publish this app and share it with the another user, right? So let's see what they can get. Now before that, I'm just going to add the home screen icon on everyone. So it will navigate to home screen. So copy this one from here. Here also we have home one and all booking screen also. You need to put that icon. I will just click on share this app. So let's say I'm going to share it with the user 1. I think this is better. Co-owner. I'll not assign co-owner, just a normal user. Make sure if you are a beginner, if you are sharing the application with the users, they must have the permission on or all the data sources you are using. So let's say if I am sharing the application with user 2, PowerApps won't automatically give them access to these SharePoint sites and lists. You will have to do it manually before sharing this app. For the connections that you are using inside your Power Apps like Outlook, SQL, anything, it will ask a pop-up for those users. So it will does automatically, but for the data sources, you will have to do it manually. So I will share this app with user 2. I will cross check whether user 2 has access to this site or not. I think he don't. Let me share that with user 2 as well. Give them a edit permission. Click on share. If you give them a read permission, then there will be error because they cannot add any entries in this list because they have the read permission. So there are the permission related things you can read it out, but yes, make sure that they have the edit access or at least contribute access to this list, right? So if I go here, I copy this app, I will copy the link and logged in with my user 2 account. So I will make a booking with their account. It's on my different window. I have currently shared one window, but what I will do, I will just log in with their account and book a room, and I will open that play mode here also in my current application. So I have made some booking with my another user account for different dates. So let's check in our SharePoint list first whether the entries got updated or not. So I'm going to filter them out or group them out by name. Okay, this one. Okay, so I did 6 entries and another user did 3 entries. So 2 entries for current date, that is 8th of September, and 1 entry for the 10th of September. So as an admin, I logged in into this account. So let's check first the bookings. So what we got here. So we got the bookings from the user 2 as well and my bookings as well. But if I logged in with my user account, I'm seeing only two entries. As an admin, I can change the dates. So let's say 10. So user 2 has a booking for 10. They can view it. So I think this is working fine. Let's check book a new room. So user 2 had an entry for today's date 2 to 2:30 p.m. and the room name is Chicago. So Chicago should not be available for me for this time. You can see the Chicago is not available. If I click on show booking detail, then it is saying Chicago is booked by user 2 for the selected time. So then this is working as expected. So I hope you understand the, everything and every application and all the formulas that we have written. If you are facing any issues, any doubt at any point, you can just let me know in comments. So also do not forget to include a timestamp so that it will a lot easier, like where you are getting error, so I can directly jump to that time and see what the part of the video is. So whether it's a patch function, whether you are facing an issue in the Outlook connection, right? So it will be helpful for me to directly guide you there. Right? So using this application, you can use, you can enhance its user interface as well, right? So I will give this exact application in my GitHub profile so that you can reference it to see the formula completely and all. So and the list detail as well. So whatever the list column I have created, and for we have two lists, right? One for the admin and one for the booking detail. So I will give every information on the GitHub repo, and the link I will provide in the description. So for this application, you can use your internal use only.